Hello everyone, my name's Cliff and welcome back to my channel. This is Cliff's Dark Gems. Today I'm going to be reviewing two paperbacks from hell. Both very dark, but at the same time very different. First of all, Ramsey Campbell, The Face That Must Die. And secondly, Richard Laymon, Midnight's Lair. Stay tuned. Okay everyone, so you can see I've got a bit of a new look today. That's because my other pair of glasses is not doing very well. They're very skew. So I'm going to have to go to the optician to sort that out. So I found these. If I look a little bit disorientated, it's because I'm still getting used to them. But hey, that's what happens. Anyway, let's start off with these two paperbacks from hell. Both very trashy, both very dark, but very different. And in fact, Ramsey Campbell, The Face That Must Die. Before we even get into that, I'd like to talk about the introduction, where Ramsey Campbell basically writes an introduction called At the Back of My Mind, Guided Tour, which is completely autobiographical, where he talks about his relationship with his mother, who suffers from mental illness and slowly goes pretty mad. And this is all true. And it's actually quite sad and quite a terrifying look at the author's life, and it gives us an insight into why he wrote this particular book. You can put the two together any way that you want. Okay, so what is this book about? Well, this book is about a man called Horridge. Let me see if I got that right. He's homophobic. Yeah, Horridge. Very suitably named. He's a homophobic nobody. In fact, he's not just homophobic, he's racist. He's basically, anyone else is a threat to him. And he's totally psychopathic, and he's paranoid, and he's delusional. And we get drawn into this mind almost immediately. And in most of the book, we are inside the mind of this character. He is despicable, but yeah, he just descends into this complete madness. He loses all touch of reality, and it makes for a very dark, depressing read. It starts off where he becomes absolutely convinced that there's this homosexual that is killing off other homosexuals in the area, and that justice needs to be done in one way or another. And he starts stalking this guy, and he finds out where he lives, and he wants to confront him because the police have done nothing. And he blames the police as well. He's just a horrible, terrible person. And we see him confront this guy in his block of flats. And I think you can see where this is going. He's fearful of everything. He's got this razor blade that protects him. And unfortunately for the other people in the block of flats, there's this couple and there's this artist. And they kind of end up encountering this guy as well. As I said, it is a very dark, bleak, disturbing book. There is nothing happy or joyful about this read, and really Ramsey Campbell just does paranoia so well in the story, and everything is unsettling. It takes place in 1970s Liverpool, where Ramsey Campbell grew up, and everything about the setting is just grimy, dirty, dark, dank, decrepit. The buildings falling apart, graffiti on the buildings. Everything just gives an air of being unsettled, being paranoid, being uncomfortable the whole time. So it's not an easy read, and it's definitely not a pleasant read, but it is a good read. There are parts of it I really enjoyed. I enjoyed being inside this guy's mind. It's really a sick look at someone who is mentally ill, and how he slowly loses touch with reality, descends into a madness, and basically he becomes a psychotic killer. But at the same time, it's kind of weird that you feel a little bit for him because of this mental illness thing, and he's delusional, and he thinks that the world's against him. He thinks at the end, everything, even objects in the bar, there's cameras there, everything is looking at him. So yeah, it's kind of sad at the same time, but it's not a happy story. It's not a pleasant story. And my other thing is that it was just a little bit too slow. The pace is very, very slow. I think purposely so, because it's dragging you through, it's making you feel depressed, it's making you feel uncomfortable, but it was just too slow for my liking. So yeah, I think a lot of people would actually go crazy for this book, but for me it just wasn't totally for me. And unfortunately, I think this is about the third or fourth Ramsey Campbell book I read at the moment, and none of them have really hit the spot yet. I'm not going to give up on him, but his writing style, which is superb by the way, it just doesn't really do it for me because it's so slow paced, and the story doesn't move on, the narrative doesn't move on quick enough. Another thing about the setting, there's a lot of moving in and off buses, and there's a lot of just moving around the streets with this character, and he's lost and he's confused, and it just takes away from the speed of the narrative and the story. Although I must say I did enjoy the end. The climax was pretty good. It was pretty intense. But anyway, that is Ramsey Campbell, The Face That Must Die. Okay, next up we have Midnight's Lair by Richard Laymon. This is the second Richard Laymon I've read, and I'm really starting to enjoy him. This is also a very dark book, but it is not depressing. It is a hell of a lot of fun. It is very gross. It is very pervy. Lots of talks about boobs and butts and all sorts of stuff. And yeah, like he writes like a horny adolescent boy at times, but I really enjoyed this book. It's about a group of tourists who basically get trapped underground in Mordoc's Cave. Now Mordoc's Cave is a big tourist attraction. It's sort of like a natural wonder, and it's beneath this hotel, Mordoc's Hotel. It's run by this family, obviously the Mordoc's. And now what happens is this hotel catches fire and the power goes off, so they're trapped underground. Now we learn more about why this fire happened, and we also learn that in the cave there's one section that is walled off, and it kind of brings a little bit of what you think at the beginning is like a ghost story, and it's walled off, and a group of the tourists and their tour guide decide that they're going to go and knock this wall down because there's a way to get out that way, and they're going to go and get help. That was a very bad decision to make, as they realize soon enough. So let's talk about the setting for a moment. Because it's underground, it is pretty terrifying, it's pretty claustrophobic, and it actually reminds me of that movie, this movie that I love so much called The Descent, about these four girls who go underground. They go spelunking, I think it is, where they go underground, and it's in a cave and they meet these creatures. It is absolutely bloody terrifying. And I found a similar kind of vibe going on here, although Richard Laymon wrote this book way before that. It's crazy, but it's a lot of fun. The characters, he does characters very well, in my opinion. There's a huge range of them, there's a huge cast of characters, and you see characters from the hotel. Some of their loved ones are in the tour group. The tour guide has a mom at the hotel hoping that the child is safe. And there's this other character as well, oh my word, mostly the most unlikable, despicable, horrible, hateful character. Horny little schoolboy kind of character, but he's a lot more than that. And he takes after his old dad as well. You learn about that side of things as well. And believe me, it's better going into this book blind. It goes to some very, very interesting, twisted places. And what's behind the wall, as I said, you don't really know until you read into the book a little bit more. A little bit about the history of this family, about the men folk of this family. Is in this particular hotel room. I'm not going to go further into it, don't want to give away spoilers, but it's a lot of fun and it's a wild ride. But I must warn you, with Richard Laymon, in addition to all the pervy stuff, just about on every single page, people are semi-naked or naked. I don't know how they lose their clothes in these situations, but really it's ridiculous. And so sometimes in the middle of the case where they're in dreadful danger, this boy in particular just wants to, I don't know, yeah, he just wants to get with this girl who's a tour guide, and oh, he's just the most hateful character, really. Anyway, so it's a lot of fun. Be warned, not just because of the sex, it's also there's definitely trigger warnings for rape, and there's trigger warnings for people munching each other. Hopefully I'm not giving too much away there, but yeah, this is a Laymon book, so if you know anything about Laymon, that's kind of par for the course. Okay, so everyone, yeah, another thing about this book, it's got different points of view. So you've got the people inside trying to get out, and then you've got a group that are outside trying to get in, and in particular these two that are trying to save their daughters. Yeah, that's all I'm going to say about this particular book. It's a lot of fun, and Laymon is one of those authors you either enjoy him or you don't. It's kind of no in between, really. You either can just put up with all the nonsense pervy stuff, or it really gets to you and probably going to end up giving it a 1 star. I just found it to be mindless, stupid fun, and I gave it 4 stars. That is Richard Laymon, Midnight's Lair. Okay, and finally, before we leave, a book that I've just sunk my teeth into a little bit is Alligator. So I've just really started this, not too far in, but I'll definitely give you some feedback about that soon. And also going into the 3rd week, I'm going to be reading The Omen as part of that novelization thing. And I've got a couple of other shorter books to read as well. So we're okay, we're kind of on course for everything. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed that. Please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Make a comment down in the spaces below. Do you enjoy Richard Laymon? Which books have you read by him? Have you read this other book as well? Any Ramsey Campbell that you could maybe let me know about that I might enjoy? But anyway, until next time, take care of yourselves, keep those pages turning, and cheers.